We're coming back to the Lake Helen Police Department in Lake Helen, Florida again. I've got a couple follow-up questions, but this is going to take an unexpected turn where we're going to address some other things, and I think this turns into a very valuable interaction. Some of you will have some initial thoughts within the first few minutes of this, but keep watching, then let me know what you think of the whole thing. Hello, Lynn.
Hello. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm hanging in there.
I just had a couple of questions. For one, for someone to apply as an officer here, would there be a requirement for an application? Do they have to fill out an application? Mm-hmm. Okay. Because I was here before looking for Mark Size application.
I thought you got permission and got it from City Hall.
Yeah, well, I guess they're saying there never was an application for either time he worked here.
I don't know anything about that. I'm not part of the hiring team. I just do the paperwork.
Yeah.
Not his paperwork. I don't know anything with that.
Okay.
Nothing to do with applying. I think they get their information and take it from there. I don't know how they do it.
Okay, yeah.
I do background checks for the police departments, but it's just local stuff that we have, and that's all I do.
Yeah, okay.
For them, anyway.
All right. How'd you learn my name already?
You're surprised. I know a lot about you.
Oh, yeah?
You knew a lot about us, so.
Well, you work for the public, right?
Eh?
What do you, I don't work for the public.
No? What's that mean?
Well, you said I know a lot about you because you know a lot about us.
Well,
that's what you said.
Isn't that fair?
Well, do you understand?
I just heard. Let's say that.
Do you understand what a public servant versus a private citizen? You know.
When I'm a private citizen, when I walk out of here, right?
What's that?
Am I a private citizen when I walk out of here?
When are
When
you?
I leave here, I'm a private citizen, right?
Are you in your official capacity right now?
I'm just asking you that. Is that considered being a private citizen when you leave your work? Or are you always a?
When you leave your work?
When I leave here.
Yeah, in your own
not
personal
working.
world. Yeah. Am I at your house asking you
No,
questions?
I'm just asking that. I just want to know that.
Well, it seems like
You told me to learn, and I've been learning.
I just want to pause here real quick. She's referring to a previous encounter where she just said that I told her to learn, so she's been learning. Makes me sound like a bit of a jerk, but I was very cordial. I never said, hey, you need to learn. What it was is she admittedly was not familiar with Florida records laws, and she didn't know that a citizen could request public records and do so anonymously. They don't have to give a name. And we had what I felt to be a very cordial conversation after that. She seemed to be genuine in wanting to learn about the laws, which is important. She's the records manager at this department. Now, granted, it's a very tiny department, and she probably doesn't deal with it much, but it's important to know. Now, this interaction I did feel was a bit standoffish, which I didn't expect. Like I said last time, I thought we ended the conversation, the encounter, on a positive note. But I think, and you let me know in the comments what you think after watching this whole thing, but I'd at least like to think that this turned out to be a productive interaction. And that is always my goal with encounters like this. But my hope is that this can be eye-opening. We know there are some that can't open their eyes, and I'm the bad guy no matter what. But you watch, listen, and let me know.
My paperwork, and I've been knowing what to do.
Well, no, I was just telling you about the records laws. So what did you say? You heard a lot about me. What'd you hear?
Yeah, I hear just a little bit of this. Somebody knows you from certain places, and
Yeah. Well, what have you heard?
I don't have to tell you that.
No, you don't have to. I don't know why you'd be.
It's not anything bad.
No, I'm just talking to you. I mean, it doesn't matter, but
Yeah, doesn't matter to me.
I was just
Not a big deal.
curious. It just seems kind of hostile to be like, oh, I've heard a lot about you, but I'm not going to tell you what it is.
I'm not a hostile person.
No, it just seems like, I don't know. It seems
It's
seems
just
like
I feel so invaded all the time. It's like somebody has a camera in your face and you never did anything, and I just
well, for
I'm
one.
used to that kind of stuff.
Well, for one, camera's not in anybody's face, right?
It's not pointed at me, and it's not pointed at my face.
It's not in your face, right?
That's-
It's recording this whole area, right? And it's nothing to you. I don't set out and say I want to go talk to Lynn. I say
You come in anytime, talk to me.
right, but no. My point is I don't say let me go talk to Lynn.
Oh.
When I go out wherever I go, it's let me go talk to a records person at this department or a captain at this department or whatever it might be. And like we said, the whole difference between private and public that is your public capacity here. You're the records manager at the Lake Helen Police Department. So you are the point of contact. And being a public entity, and with what I do, I record everything that I do, as we should. And we've seen so many times, you know, things will happen, a claim will be made of something happened or something was said that might not be so true. And had it been on video, it could have been proven, right? So just like officers record for their, you know, to cover themselves, I record to cover myself as well. But also I've got a document. They don't use body cams yet? They really should. That's a big. Have they tried to get funding for that?
I think, you know, trying to get other stuff in place before we get that kind of stuff. Like we need cars and.
Yeah, those cameras though, that's a really important thing.
I get it. I've seen them. Yeah, you're right.
It protects the citizens and the police department. It protects both people, because like what I just said, like without a video, you know, I'm not saying you would do this. It just is an example, you know. Without video, I could leave here, and you could, or you know, anybody could say, "Oh, he was in here spitting at me, and he threw a rock in here at me." I'm not saying you would.
I get it.
But hypothetically, and then when I leave down the road, I'd get pulled over and handcuffed, and oh, what happened? What happened? Probably be charged with something. Yeah. And I'm not saying you would do that, but there are people out there that would do things like that, unfortunately.
But you think differently than I do. You're activating my brain, because I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, because unfortunately, I've seen too much. They say ignorance is bliss.
Not always.
But I would love to be blissful again. There was a time in my life that I had bliss, and it's a more peaceful, being less aware lets you have more peace in your mind. You're more.
It's such a different time, though. It's just not.
It's a very different
I'm
time.
not used to this.
It's a very different time, yeah.
And probably if I was a lot younger, it probably wouldn't affect me as much. But it's stressful for me.
Yeah, you just gotta cover
You never
yourself.
know what's going to come in the door. You don't. A lot of people come in screaming at you. They don't even
Right.
know me or anything, you know.
Right.
So to me, it's a little stressful.
Yeah, and I get it, and that's not. And again, that's not you. See, I understand what you're saying, and you personally, as a person, it bothers you. But I can only speak for myself. But generally speaking, when people come in here, like I said about me, I'm not coming in here to see, you know, talk to Lynn. They might be angry at something with the city or something like that. You're the first point of contact, because it's a government building.
I'm starting to understand.
So when they come in, you're the face of what they are mad at. You know, they don't know Lynn. They're not mad at Lynn, but you're the face of what they currently are mad at.
They
You
think
know.
I'm going to cure all their problems just like that, and you know.
Yeah, no, I get it. And that's, you know, and that comes with working in public service. You know, it comes with it. I did it too, as I'm sure you know.
It's not an easy job, you know.
No, it's not a fun. So out of curiosity, I'm pretty sure I already know. But do you know why I left the job when I did that job?
No, but if I was where you were, I would have left too, so.
Yeah, well, so.
I don't know any of that.
So I'll tell you just because honestly I like you. Even though when I just came in, you're like, oh man, I know a lot about you. That seemed kind of.
I didn't mean it like that.
So, you know,
You
whatever.
should know me by now.
Yeah, but I know we had the same thing last time. But I will tell you what rumor has been spread by. Usually it's by people that are angry at me, and when I come out and I look into things, I investigate things. I'm an investigative journalist, is what I do. So sometimes when I'm looking into something that people don't like me looking into, they don't want people to hear about it, they get mad at me. And some people, right, and it's just the truth. See, I don't make things up, and my goal is I don't ever intend to try to make someone look bad. If someone appears on my video or in my story and they look bad, it's their doing. I didn't do it. I just show reality. I'm essentially a mirror. I reflect what's real. So if someone is mad at what reflects, they should, you know, take that as a learning experience, because I didn't do anything. I just showed people, you know, what reality was. But anyway, you know, people get mad at me just because I do what I do, and I'm very cordial and professional and nice. I'm nice to everybody.
I've heard so many horror stories about people like you, and not saying that you're that way, but I really heard some bad horror stories. People get violent, they get
and here's the thing.
It's like, whoa, I'm not doing that stuff.
I just 20 minutes ago I was having a conversation with a couple of DeLand cops. because this goes both ways. There's a lot of cops, people will see a cop. They've never met that individual cop before, but they see that badge and already they're hostile. They're like, oh, I hate this son of a bitch.
They don't even want to come in because of that, but they need
right.
to. So
but,
you're right.
But they've never met that particular cop, but that badge, they hate that badge because they've had a bad experience with it before. And cops always say, hey.
It's probably not their fault, or not
right.
anybody's fault.
And cops will say, hey, don't treat me like that. I didn't do anything. You've never met me. Right. Now, on the flip side of that, I come up and I do what I do, and sometimes cops will be hostile to me because they've had a bad experience with someone with a camera. They've never encountered me before. I've never treated them poorly. Right. Can I be a jerk sometimes? Yes, but I never initiate it. If somebody is a jerk to me, I'll give what I get, But I'm very respectful. I'm very cordial to everybody that I encounter because I appreciate the same.
I've had people actually, because of these videos, text me here, email me here.
Yeah.
Either critical of what I did, not as many as critical of what you do, not meaning you personally, but they,
right?
And how they can become irrational and assault people, and I'm getting all these emails. I'm like, oh my God!
And it's true, they can. Just like we see cops get arrested and charged with things, so you see what I mean? Anybody could, but to label a certain group of people because of what one has done. But when I go doing things, I don't just randomly show up and say, it's always things I'm looking into, or it's,
And I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, and for the reason I've come in here required me to go to several departments. It's one big story that I'm, just research that I'm doing is what brought me here. But then we encounter some other things. Yeah, but so some of these people that don't like me, I won't mention anybody's names, but the rumor that they like to spread is that, and again, when I worked as a cop, I was a public servant. So that part of my life is absolutely public record. That period of my time, public record forever. So anybody can access it. Everybody's free to access it. So what a rumor from people who don't like me and law enforcement, who are supposed to de-escalate, but we've got some law enforcement members that are trying to escalate and gaslight people to become angry. I don't know why, but they do it. So they say that I was a cop and that I was fired because I shot an unarmed man in the back, and that I was sued for it, and that I was charged, and I got my department sued.
Really?
Oh, and this is high-ranking member.
Did that happen?
It did not happen. The only bit of truth to that is I did shoot someone. I shot someone because he pointed a gun in my face.
Yeah.
And where did I shoot him? If it was in his back, I don't care. If someone puts a gun in my face, I don't care where my bullets hit him, as long as they hit him. But it hit him in the side because he was standing toward the side, and it exited out his back. So from that, they said he shot him in the back. He was very armed. I was cleared for that incident by the department and by FDLE, by the state. And I later resigned on my own accord. Much after that, it had nothing to do with that. It's because of how law enforcement is in general. It had weighed on me for a while. I didn't like it.
I've seen that a lot with, especially the younger guys that are coming.
Yeah, I didn't like it, so I resigned. I was not sued. The department was sued, but as anybody would sue any department for anything, but the judge tossed the case out. Now, he could prove that. It's public record, right? He could pull my file and show everybody and show how bad of a person I am. But
they make you a bad person if you were right.
Right, but they won't do that because it's not there, because there's only positive things. I went to pull my own file and I asked, hey, has anybody requested my file? No, you're the only one, which tells me they know what they're saying isn't true. They're just trying to defame me. They just want people angry at me.
These are people you worked with?
No, these are current law enforcement members right now locally.
From other departments?
From other departments. Some high ranking, as a matter of fact.
I heard some nasty stuff going on in the land.
Yeah, there is some nasty stuff going on. Some very nasty stuff going on in the land. I will tell you, one of the people saying those things about me is Mike Chitwood.
Really?
Mike Chitwood. And I said to him, I said, Mike, pull my file. He was very angry in my face, yelling, all because I just said, Mike, can we just have a cordial conversation? And this is why I record, because he could say I did or said anything.
Exactly, you're right.
But I genuinely just said, Mike, can we just have a conversation?
Yeah, we all did that though. Oh my God.
Yeah, but it's a shame. It's a shame that we have to. It's a shame that we've come to that point that we have to. You know, but
the same way though.
Yeah.
I mean, it could happen to them. They could have said, "Oh, he punched me in the face."
Absolutely.
You know, and then you arrested me.
Which is why they wear the body cams now. When I came in and he said, "Oh man, I know a lot about you."
Sorry, goes, "Do you know that?" Sorry, I go, "I don't know that. Who's that?" And they started laughing, and they go, "You know, the guy that comes into the camera. That's all they're talking."
Yeah. I had a feeling probably what you might have heard is what those things that were said about me, those negative.
Hear that though.
Well, because he put it out on social media, and it's not true. It's just not true. So, you know, I told everybody, I said, my file is public. I went to pull my file, and I'm going to do a video say, hey, look, anybody interested, here's my file. It's public record. My time in public service is public, and that's something some people don't understand too.
Yeah, that's a little bit what I thought.
But private and public is different.
I didn't have a reason to think that. I wouldn't ever approach me like that before. So to me, it was like, whoa, what is going on?
Just like when you leave here, like what you asked, you're a private citizen when you leave here. If I was standing in front of your house and saying, hey, Lynn, I want this public record, honestly, legally, I could do it, I guess, but I wouldn't do that. Just like me. Now, I'm not in public service. I'm a private citizen, right? So what I do is not for public knowledge. It's not for public consumption. And some people don't get that breakdown. They get mad. They say, you're showing what I'm doing. I'm going to tell the world what you're doing, what you've done. I'm like, well, for one, it wasn't negative what I did if you pull my file, but I'm just showing what is public. It's for public knowledge. It's public. You know, there's a big difference between public and private citizens, or public servants and private citizens. But yeah, I've got a really good relationship with officers in every department. For the most part, a lot of administration don't like me because I look into stories. Like you mentioned, some things going on in DeLand. There are things going on in DeLand, some bad things, and I've dug into some of those things and I've reported on them, and they don't like it. So they turn on me, and they like to say, you know, yeah, without a camera though, I would be just the annoying guy with a camera. Or I would just be the annoying guy that asks them questions. But because of the camera, they get angry because more people than just me are seeing what they're doing. And one voice becomes thousands.
The more knowledge is...
Absolutely. And we can all gain more knowledge every single day from everywhere, unless we deny it.
My industry gets like, I'm too old for this stuff.
Yeah, everybody, my name's not a secret, you know, but I'll tell everybody. But sometimes when when I come into a place and they call me by my name, and I know that I've never told them my name, I'm like, well, what happened there? What happened there? So when I came into this department today, I didn't intend for the interaction to go the direction that it did, but I felt like it had a positive outcome. Initially, I believe it was a little bit standoffish, like I mentioned, and I will say I believe this is due to Lynn's frustration, and it's because this is a tiny agency. She honestly doesn't deal with this often. But I credit her because we very rarely see a member of a public agency willing to have a conversation and listen and understand, and we can communicate and talk about both sides, and we can have a better understanding. It's educational, and I think this video has value. Of course, that will only work for people who watch it with an open mind, but this video demonstrates how often people are incorrectly and inappropriately labeled, just like things that are done to cops because of bad cops. And we talked about some retaliation, some defamation that happens to people when we do what we do. And we have to ask, why would peacekeepers be so eager to gaslight and cause problems and try to cause anger? Stay tuned. There will be a full story on things that we mentioned in this video very soon. And I will show you and I will explain to you how public servant members of law enforcement are knowingly attempting to spread false information simply in an effort to defame. And I'll show you how they know what they say isn't true. And it's okay, it doesn't bother me personally. When people who mean nothing to me say things, their words mean nothing to me also. But the public should be aware of intentions, especially negative intentions of public servants. So stay tuned for that. Share your thoughts. Check out some other videos. Make sure you subscribed. hit the notification. You don't want to miss this video that I just mentioned coming soon. And again, I do give Lynn credit here because we went from escalated to peaceful and civil. And that's always the goal. That's unfortunately rarely reached.